Welcome to another episode of Film Seizure. I am Geoff Arbuckle.
I'm Jason Oliver.
And happy 30th birthday to the 1989 masterpiece, Batman.
Batman.
Directed by Tim Burton. And
Yes.
Tim Burton has never approached this ever again in quality.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to talk about that. But yeah, man. Happy birthday, Batman.
God damn, this is such an important part of our generation. I mean, this is the world stopped on June 23rd, 1989 to see what Batman was all about.
It really did.
It really did.
This movie was a marketing
Frenzy.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. I mean,
every store, you couldn't turn left or right without seeing the bat symbol.
Yeah.
And that summer.
Yeah, and I guess that's where we should start here, right? Because the marketing for this is so perfect. Like it's got it was one of the first movies to ever market itself without without words on it, just the date, without its title, nothing on the poster, just the bat symbol and the date. And I mean, people knew what it was. It was iconography at its finest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and movies have done it since. Shortly thereafter, the Captain America movie was marketed like that by just showing the shield,
right?
Because it's one of the canon guys, so take whatever you can that works.
Exactly. Oh, that worked for Batman.
Right, and it's like back then, I don't think that would have worked for Captain America as well as it would today. Today, it would work. The Cap got there now. Yeah. But back then, it didn't quite work out. And
I mean, back then, the only two superheroes that carried that much weight were Batman and Superman.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Spider-Man, if you did it right, would have been recognizable to the public.
Yeah,
but still, Spider-Man's iconography is slightly different because he's got a couple of you can go with the face with the big eyes, or you can go with the spider. Batman and Superman have one thing that you look at.
Yeah.
And that is what's on their chest.
Right, exactly. It is the definition of icon. Yeah.
Right. And in the comic book world, Wonder Woman has that, but it's not it's not quite like Batman and Superman.
Right. Yeah, of course.
And because while Superman did use the symbol several years before to advertise on its poster, Christopher Reeve wasn't there, Gene Hackman wasn't there, but they still had words.
Yes. Because
that was where the whole "you'll believe a man can fly" saying came from, right? Or whatever marketing strategy. So this really knew what it wanted to do as far as advertising itself. Like, it knew that symbol was everything anybody needed.
Yeah, and they were going to put it on as much shit as possible.
And they did.
And pack it into as many stores as possible.
And they did.
Yeah, sure as shit did.
But not just that.
I mean, I remember there were cereal boxes. Like, it was like the whole box was just the bat symbol. Right? Yeah. It was Batman cereal. It's like, fucking Christ, it was everywhere.
Yeah, and Batman cereal was nothing more than just reshaped Captain Crunch.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, it's like without any Crunch Berries, you can take it or leave it.
Didn't matter. You're eating Batman cereal.
Well, that's true. You got the bank,
you
too.
You just stare at that box while you're eating your Batman cereal.
Yep. And you can just hear Danny Elfman's music playing. But it came with that bank also, the coin bank that was packaged on there. No, I mean, this was the first movie that I remember having as successful of a memorabilia merchandising since Star Wars.
Yeah.
It brought back a whole genre of DC superhero figures that had been kind of floated around the mid 80s, but then kind of came back in strength in 89 and 90.
Yeah.
It was there was also it was also a good time for DC Comics. Movies always bring people into comic book stores, but this was also a time when DC was probably a little bit ahead of Marvel, partly because they had streamlined their publishing line, and they had really good writers and artists and everything on their books. And Marvel was kind of still going through its grimdark phase.
Yeah. So I was trying to think, like, there were movies in my youth where the big summer tentpole movies that it felt like for me that Batman was the first one to really just saturate everything they could with their movie. And it worked like gangbusters. And it helped that it was a great movie. But the next year was almost the same thing from a merchandising standpoint. I was trying to make sure that I was right on this, and it was Dick Tracy. They did the exact same thing that Batman did,
but
the
with
next
different
summer,
results.
but with wildly different results. Yeah.
It was. I mean, if you think about it, also it's like, and someday I'd like to rewatch Dick Tracy, because there is a very cool aesthetic to that.
Sure.
It's not quite Batman though. I mean, like, I don't know. There's plenty of stuff that you can say good about Dick Tracy as a pulp hero, as a comic strip character, right?
Yeah.
But it's not Batman. And it may not
It's a little more difficult to make Dick Tracy translate to like 1990. You know?
Because it's like, well, we want this kids movie, but Madonna's in it.
Yeah.
And Al Pacino's our bad guy. Those are adult things.
Right.
Warren Beatty.
Right. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, kids don't know who the fuck Warren Beatty is, for one thing.
Right. And I don't know. I mean, like, because at times it seemed like it was too kiddie, and then there were times it was too adult.
Yeah. That we've talked about that before, where you're just not quite sure who your target audience is.
Right.
Are we making this for kids, for a new generation, or are we trying to appeal to an old generation?
Right.
With nostalgia. And I think that's where Beatty fucked up, is because he had the nostalgia for it, and he overestimated the nostalgia that everyone else had.
I bet with reevaluation today, next year as it approaches 30, I'm sure it's going to be talked about a little bit.
Sure.
But with reevaluation, I think people will say, wow, that was really kind of a cool little retro.
Sure.
Because whereas Batman had the 30s and 40s in its aesthetic, it was still very much 1989.
Yeah, it was modern.
Dick Tracy,
the cars, it was all modernized.
Right.
Yeah. The guns.
Right. Like Dick Tracy, it is the 30s or 40s or whatever.
Right.
You've got Tommy guns. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I do think that it's probably something that would be reevaluated very kindly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you'd look back on it as almost like a neo-noir sort of like satire almost,
Yeah, and while I think it did kind of take itself seriously too.
It absolutely did.
But I don't know. It's kind of hard to, it's like all us kids knew who Madonna was. It's kind of hard to pass her off as being something for kids,
right? Especially in 1990. Yeah, for sure.
Especially being a torch singer.
Yeah.
Right. That's a tough.
But it's interesting because Dick Tracy was the more cartoonish of the two.
Yeah.
Like if you really put them back to back and view them side by side, Batman definitely is a darker movie.
Yeah.
A much darker movie.
It was definitely benefiting from Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
From just a few years before.
And it's really, also from a media standpoint of visual medium, it was a complete new thing.
Right.
Anybody who wasn't familiar with the comic were probably a little bit shocked.
Well, if they went thinking it was going to be Adam West,
right,
it ain't going to be that.
Right.
I mean, Adam West was the Batman that was a sunshine hero.
Yeah.
This was a true creature of the night.
Yep.
which is really what he was designed originally for, and mostly was pre-code era.
Yeah.
But this was, but he did not get back to it until the 70s. And even then it was struggling depending on who the writer was, or the artist. But certainly once, Neil Adams was drawing it, they brought back that kind of dark tone in the 70s. Basically once they were able to kind of scrub themselves and free themselves from the TV show.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the TV show.
Yeah.
Because that's something we both grew up with
Sure.
pre-1989.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, as a little kid, I remember, I
loved it.
Loved it.
I loved it.
It's
I love the movie. I mean,
yeah. Caesar Romero's Joker was great.
Yeah.
But once June 23rd, 1989 happened, different story altogether. But I do have to say that there is still a nostalgic fondness that I have for Adam West.
Sure.
And Burt Ward's.
Ward.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just it's one of those things where it's like I can't watch that as an adult anymore because it's a little much.
Yeah, a little cringy.
It's at times where it's like, wow, it's like the police are worthless. They just call Batman.
It's too much of a cartoon.
Yeah, and it's too campy, and
Yeah.
the people who were in charge of it treated it as such. They weren't going to make it.
It doesn't
serious.
actually feel like there's much respect for the source material looking back on it now.
No, it was comic books are for kids.
Yeah.
And this was during a time in which Marvel was proving comic books weren't just for kids. College kids were looking up to characters like the Hulk and Spider-Man and these kind of characters who bucked the system.
Mm-hmm.
And the TV show probably set DC back from being able to catch up with Marvel. And I think that because I don't know this for sure, because in the 80s comic books were really kind of the thing. If you didn't, it's like if you didn't have, if you haven't had Nintendo, it's like, well, you read or you went outside, you go to the playground, you sit on the swings and you read the comic book you just got at the drugstore or whatever, and the other kids are doing that too.
Right.
And by then a lot of the maturity was wrestled back from that. But I'm assuming that there was an understanding, or at least a public understanding, that there was a difference between reading Superman, Batman versus the Hulk or Spider-Man or something like that, where they were trying to tackle certain issues. Marvel was just better at that.
Yeah.
Some of that probably is, guys like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and Jim Steranko working on those books. But, yeah, it's like I always kind of thought of DC as kind of not mature. That's not true necessarily, but that was always my, it's like those are like the old gods. That's like reading the Superman comic is like reading the Bible. It's like, well, this thing is too powerful.
Yeah.
It's like, but meanwhile, I can go and read Spider-Man and he's having relationship issues because he's trapped between two worlds. It's like, that seems grown up. But yeah. That was a little bit of a diatribe. Sorry. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
What are you gonna do? We got off topic last week too.
Oh yes, we did.
But
Many
in
times.
good ways.
Yes.
So I am not a comic book fan.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Wait a minute. Am I in a tangent universe?
Yeah, this is the Berenstain Bears.
Yes.
universe.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, no, but like, it's still, even at 12 years old, like Batman was shown on TV. Channel 4 played it
Yeah.
after school or whatever it was, and it's like you still. It was what you had. You had that, or you had Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And it's like, You can rent Superman from the Blockbuster, but that was long ago. That was, yeah, it was getting to the point by 1987, 88, 89, even though Superman 4 had come out in 87.
Oof.
Just
Yeah, but oof.
But the good Superman movies felt like another time
Yeah.
because they were made in the 70s. And someday I'd like for us to watch Superman the movie.
The movie
Mm-hmm.
or and Superman 2?
We could, since they were filmed back to back.
Yeah. I like Superman 2.
I do too. But Superman 1 is got some good stuff in it.
It does, but I like Superman 2.
I know.
So we can watch them both.
Yeah, we could watch the Donner cut.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know
anyway.
that I've ever watched the Donner Cut.
It's all right. Anyway, but those movies felt like they were from a different time. They were very 70s in how they tackled certain issues and whatnot. And it's funny because I had a magazine that we were kind of flipping through that was celebrating the 30th anniversary of Batman. And they kept referring to it as the first serious comic book movie. And I thought about that for a little bit. And it's like, okay, well, there were the serials. Those don't really count. But Superman, it's like this was after the 4 Superman movies, which I'm sure Warner and DC sweated it out a little bit with Superman 4 going so badly that they were probably a little concerned about what Batman was going to be like.
They had to know, like, looking at it, though.
It was something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I kind of thought about it over the last couple of days. And I kind of came to the realization that, yeah, I think Batman is the first, quote unquote, serious comic book movie. And that's not to take anything away from Superman or Superman 2, but those are kind of fantasy movies.
Okay.
They're at times tongue in cheek, kind of like winking at the camera that's like, come on, that's Superman, you know.
Right.
While I think the filmmakers took it very seriously, and certainly, you had powerhouse people like Gene Hackman and Marlon Brando. I don't think it was kind of blaring the horns at people saying this is the first serious comic book movie.
Sure.
I think it was like, hey, this is a fantasy.
Yeah.
We're not going to really call it a comic book movie.
Well, even the tagline, like you said, "You'll believe a man can fly," is
it's kind of a wink at you. Well, before it was all really bad special effects. Now we got something that really looks like a guy is flying.
Yeah.
And it, some of those effects do hold up a little bit in some of the first 2 movies. I don't know about the later ones, but the first 2 movies, a lot of that holds up still. But it looked like it was a fantasy. I mean, it's Peter Pan more so than Superman, really, because that was the intended effect of the filmmakers as people watched the movie, was to make them feel like little kids again. This was meant for adults. Kids loved it, but Batman was meant that it was an adult movie.
Was it PG-13?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Batman is just murdering fools at certain points when he's like finally fighting back against the Joker. But there's double entendres. There's, it's meant to be for an adult consumption.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I was really glad they didn't do was they didn't do the whole "this ain't your father's Batman."
Right.
Eye roll. That would have undercut all the seriousness.
Yeah.
It's like, just let it speak for itself.
Right. Which is exactly what they did.
Yeah, and considering Tim Burton gets this job after making Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
That's amazing.
Right, but I mean, he's making this really over the top movie. And he does it again, but he does it in style, not in the silliness of Pee Wee Herman.
Right.
Which I think is really, really, I mean, that there's nothing more you can say positive to Tim Burton than, I mean.
Well, and in most ways, Batman was much more in line with his aesthetic.
Oh, with like his design work and stuff?
Than Pee-wee was.
Yeah.
Now, Pee-wee is really, in a lot of ways, like you would not really think of that as a Tim Burton movie. In fact, if you watch it, it doesn't really have the the hallmarks of a Tim Burton movie. It's
No.
a lot of the creative control in that, I believe, was probably handled by Paul Rubens. I would imagine he's the steward of the character.
But this is the Directors Guild card for Burton.
Right. Yes. This I think it's his coming
this
out.
Is his.
Yeah. This is his vision.
This is Goober Peters as a producing team saying this guy
gets it,
is special.
Yeah.
And we need to give him something that feels special. And so
it's a passion project. I mean, there was Beetlejuice before this.
Sure, but still, I mean, yeah. And what was it? Right after this was Edward Scissorhands, I think.
Yes, after Batman. Yeah, the next year. I mean, that's one hell of a 3 in a row, though. Three movies in a row, 3 different years: Beetlejuice, Batman, Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah,
and they were all in their own ways phenomenons.
Right, and then he follows that up with Batman Returns. Now, I'm not a fan of Batman Returns.
I'm not really either.
I don't like the script to that movie. I think the script is real wordy.
Yeah.
In ways that I don't. I mean, I feel like I've always said I felt like Batman Returns felt like a bunch of inside jokes that made it to the final draft. There are things that are said that it's like, why is that being said? That's not necessary. It doesn't add anything to the, and it's too adult.
Yeah.
The Penguin is lecherous.
Oh yeah.
He's rapey.
Right. Yeah. He's not fun.
No, and you think Danny DeVito.
Right.
It's like.
Yeah,
this is perfect, and then it falls flat on his face.
Yep,
just like he did when he died at the end of the movie, and he fell over in that fat suit. Then the penguins took him in. That's hilarious.
They take him off.
Yeah, they give him a Viking funeral.
Yep, I like the way he looks.
Yeah,
it's creepy. But yeah, I don't like the way he's portrayed.
And probably the best thing out of all of that is probably Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's actually a character arc there. Mm-hmm. And it mirrors Batman. That's a
yeah.
And then it had that really good Susie and the Banshee song in it.
Oh yeah, Christopher Walken's in that too. Yeah.
But he's garbage in it. It's a garbage character. I mean, that's the problem. But back to Batman. So I legitimately tried on Thursday, I think, to find the newspaper showtimes from the Indianapolis Star on that day.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure I saw either a 6:20 or a 6:30 showing that day at the Lowe's Theater. Okay. Opening day, sat like in row 3, like purposely sat as close as possible so I could just take it in. And I was with a friend. I think either one of his parents or my mom dropped us off and picked us up afterwards or whatever. And my God, like I compare movie-going experiences to that experience. Yeah. It was, 12 years old. It was a life change. I mean, that sounds stupid to say, right? Like it's so hokey to say seeing a movie.
No, I get it.
But it did. Like I saw how this could work. And then look at like 20 years later, you get the Marvel universe, and it's like we knew 20 years ago this could work, but it had to go through that fucking 90s where everything was shit, and then the first part of the 2000s where everything was shit, But but still, it's like it's growing up like on comics and liking superheroes and stuff like that. I mean, you just never thought in a million years you would actually see it pulled off in a live action way. So, I mean, it is like, earlier in the year I saw the Shazam movie, and that level of fun and wonder kind of returned. And I hadn't felt that way quite like that in 30 years, and it's for all the good that the Marvel movies are. And as much as I love those, you go to a DC Comics movie looking for that mythology, that mythological character coming to life and filling you with that wonder. And I hadn't seen it since then until I saw Shazam again. And it was, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I just compare movie-going experiences to that movie because it's the one movie. I mean, I remember seeing movies beforehand. I saw Star Wars movies when they were brand new, when I was real little, but nothing is as etched in my memory as that 1989 Batman movie. It was just, I mean, it was the culmination of just finally seeing something fully realized in live action that you grew up loving.
Yeah. I mean, and it lived up to the hype it created.
Oh boy, it did. Yeah.
Which really is kind of what made it explode into something phenomenal for its run. I mean, it was just.
Yeah. What's funny is when I was trying to find the newspaper clippings, right? And I was, like searching for, Showtime's June 23rd, 1989 Indianapolis Star or whatever. And it would pull up like images of like November, or not November. It was like September or October or something. And on there it was, like you still saw a section where it's like Batman listed there, and like back when they used to have limited engagements and stuff like that. And it's like, I mean, this movie had legs. People were just going back time and time again to see it. I mean, I think I saw it like 5 times in the theater, which is a lot for a 12-year-old kid.
That's a shit ton.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, how did I get there? Did I walk there all the time? I probably walked there a few of the times. Yeah. I mean, it was summer. I had time to kill. I needed to see the Batman. But no, I mean, yeah. What were? I mean, do you remember when you saw it? Did you see it in the theater?
I saw it in the theater. Yeah,
I think it was almost an appointment movie viewing.
Yeah, but I didn't see it right away. And I don't really remember why. I mean, I was a little bit younger. I was 10 when it came out, and I remember like really wanting to see it, but not getting to go until I think I went with a friend and his mom or something. She took us to go see it or something, right? And yeah, I mean, yeah, phenomenal.
Right.
I mean, it's almost like one of the first movies I probably saw that felt like this thing that was so big, it was almost, you couldn't believe it was real.
Right.
Right. Like you knew it wasn't real, but it was like, how is this a movie? Right. It just felt like it would be the impossible to make and look and be this amazing.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Kind of bewildering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what's funny is that summer was just week after week movies that I went and saw at the theater. Like I remember Memorial Day weekend that summer was Indiana Jones and Last Crusade. And I remember my mom taking me to see that.
I remember seeing that in the theater. Yep.
Yeah, it's like because I think mom took me on that Sunday because I don't think she had to work the next day, or if she was working night, she wasn't working that night because of Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So I remember her taking me to see that at the General Cinema, and then week and a half later was Star Trek V.
Yep, saw that in the theater.
Boy, did I.
That was oof.
Yeah, but you know what?
It was still Star Trek.
It's still Star Trek.
I was 10 and it was Star Trek.
Yeah,
I understand what the fuck was going on, but hey,
well,
that's Kirk, that's Scotty.
Yeah,
that's McCoy.
Well, I'll tell you.
Spock.
I tell you one thing. It's real easy to understand. Why does God need a starship?
Right. He just wants one, man.
Yeah,
wants a starship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then later in that same summer was stuff like Turner and Hooch. Back to the Future 2 came out that summer.
Yep. I did not see Turner. Did I see Turner and Hooch in the theater? I definitely owned that on VHS.
No, I didn't see it until VHS.
I think I saw it on VHS. And oh my God. I can't tell you how many times I saw that movie. I don't know why. Some stupid movies, like, I just couldn't get out of my head.
Right.
And that one was one of them.
Yeah, and it's, yeah.
I was like, I just loved Tom Hanks then.
Right.
Because he had made The Money Pit and Big.
And Dragnet.
And that one I wasn't as big on.
Oh, I loved Dragnet when I was a kid. Yeah.
For me, it was The Money Pit and
Burbs.
The Burbs. Yeah, The Burbs. Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Also that summer was UHF. That was later in July.
That's one I probably saw a little later.
Lethal Weapon 2 came out that summer, but I couldn't see that until later because it was R-rated. And I know my mom went and saw it, but I didn't go with her.
I don't remember when I saw that at all.
What I do remember was those fucking hilarious HBO specials that Mel Gibson used to do.
I don't remember these.
You don't remember those?
Nope.
He would do it was like little behind the scenes, but they were all fake. They were like mockumentaries, and because at one point in time he was bitching about his socks not being elastic anymore at the top, so they kept falling down. At one point he's like pulling pranks on people. One of which was the effect of the house at the end of that sliding off the hill.
Yeah, and
he was like playing that off as that was like his big prank that went wrong or something.
Uh-huh.
And they were just funny, and it's like it was. Despite what else we know about Mel Gibson, it is known that he's a prankster on set. And so he basically made whole little shows out of that for Lethal Weapons 2 and 3, maybe 4 also later on. But that's what I remember more about Lethal Weapon 2 coming out
that's bizarre. Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
I remember when we I can't remember what it was that we were talking about, but when I was saying that I remembered that HBO summer movie thing from 1991 that I can't find any that should be on YouTube.
Yeah.
But anyway,
You
I remember
stuff figured
like
that one out, huh?
Well, no, that one I know.
Yeah.
The ones I couldn't figure out was the Rocktober Fest or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
Where they had the horror documentaries.
Yeah. Right.
But
talking about Mel Gibson Lethal Weapon 2 pranks.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. What else came out?
What episode is this?
It's Batman. We're talking about the summer of 91. That was summer of 89.
89.
Yeah. 91 was a good one too. 89 was a big year. Anyway, but no, it's like it seemed like every week there was a movie I wanted to go see, you know, and it got to the point, it was because of Batman that I started really looking forward to summer movies. Like the following year, it's like you got Days of Thunder, you've got, there were just all sorts of movies that came out in 90. Oh, Parenthood also came out in summer of 89.
I saw that on VHS, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, there was
that one didn't appeal to me at 10 years old. I saw
at 12, I was a little more mature.
I saw it a couple of years later, probably. Yeah. When I was more mature.
No, you know what? You know what it was that appealed to kids?
The Steve Martin.
Cowboy Gill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that whole segment.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, but I remember after seeing Batman, it's it wasn't long after that I saw everything that Michael Keaton was in. You know, and it's at 12 years old watching Clean and Sober, that's a little weird.
That's really weird.
Not as weird as some of Jack Nicholson and Kim Basinger's movies.
That's true.
You know, it's like telling mom you want to rent in 9.5 weeks. took some maneuvering. Or The Postman Always Rings Twice. That took some maneuvering to get those movies, you know. No, but I mean, it's I became a big fan of all of these people, and in particular Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Because his Joker was one of the best goddamn things I had ever seen, and still to this day. Yes, I know Heath Ledger played a different Joker, won an Oscar, but Jack Nicholson's my Joker.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton's my Batman, you know. But no, it's just kind of, it's all of that love that happened out of that. Because it was just so much, it's just so much Batman going on that summer that I need, you know, and it's it was around that time also that I saw My Stepmother's an Alien. Which is you know,
yeah.
I mean, it's probably not that good of a movie, but nostalgia wins. I enjoy it still. I don't really remember that movie. I know exactly what it is, but I couldn't tell you much about it. it's a lot of Dan Aykroyd. Depending on how much you like Dan Aykroyd, it depends on how much you're gonna like the jokes in there.
But yeah, now that you've sort of taken us through 89, I think the one that stands out for me the most as a movie viewing experience was Last Crusade.
Sure.
But Batman was just totally swallowed up all of the press, all of the publicity. Like, I don't remember seeing Indiana Jones stuff. It was all Batman.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that was Indiana Jones was not a merchandising thing.
Yeah, it really wasn't. And how many years later was that from Temple of Doom?
5.
Yeah, Temple of Doom was, not
one
super
of my
well
favorite.
received.
Not. I struggle to decide if I like that one more or less than Crystal Skull.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because at least I understand what they were going for with Crystal Skull.
Yeah, but Last Crusade, man.
Yeah, that's good
10-year-old me was into that. And then you had River Phoenix. We've talked about my boyhood love for River Phoenix before. Seriously.
Yeah.
Probably my first crush was River Phoenix. And him as young Indiana Jones, I thought was so cool. And around that same time, they launched the Young Indiana Jones TV show, which I fucking loved.
That was Sean Patrick Flannery.
Yes, it was
Flannery.
Yep, Sean Patrick. I was Indiana Jones crazy around this time.
Yeah, I think the thing is with like, you talk about like the movie going experience. Of course, Batman is the black hole that helps me remember all of those other experiences.
Yeah.
Right. It gets drawn into that.
And it's absolutely right. It did.
But I think about like stuff like I think about like Star Wars. You know, growing up with Star Wars, it was always there.
Yeah.
Other kids that your age had seen them. It was impossible not to.
Right.
And talk about like one of those movies that's like you wanted to see Batman right away, but you couldn't, or whatever, you didn't.
Yeah.
My brothers couldn't see Star Wars right away because that was back when engagements had to end before you got the new, and I think they had to wait to see it.
Wow, interesting.
I think it came out in May, and I don't think it came to Indy until like July or June or something.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was, I mean, but what Batman did for me was like, yes, everybody had seen Star Wars, Black Hole, Tron, name any old Disney movie.
Yeah.
They were always being re-released or on video or on TV or whatever. But Batman was the first one that made me understand what a blockbuster was.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, wow, okay, so every year there's going to be a movie like this.
Exactly.
And then now look at it. It's like every year there's going to be 27 movies like this.
Well, it loses its luster. Mm-hmm. The marketing engagements are so much shorter now and in shorter bursts, but also across so many different platforms.
Yes.
Right? But yeah, back then you're right. It was, for me, the first one was Batman. The next one was Dick Tracy. I don't remember what was in between, but I distinctly remember Jurassic Park.
91 was definitely Terminator 2.
Terminator 2. Yep.
Even for an R-rated movie, it was
absolutely.
It was a blitz.
Yep.
Because people knew it was special.
Yeah.
That it was going to be special. Yep. And 91, there were a couple of other things that tried, like The Rocketeer. I'm sure Disney would have wanted to be.
It definitely had a push.
Right.
It had a big push.
But
that push worked on me.
No, I like that movie a lot. But again, like Dick Tracy, kids didn't want to see a movie that took place in 1930 something.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it was because I was a little bit older, but not that much older. I just really dug on
the aesthetic
on Rocketman or Rocketman.
Yeah, how did you feel about how do you feel about Taron Egerton's Elton John?
Looks great.
Yeah.
Is he going to win Best Picture?
I don't know.
I mean, Best Actor?
I don't know.
Because I think that he's like probably going to do a better job than Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury and not win, which is going to be weird.
That's a weird statement you just said there. As much as you like that movie.
I like that movie. But what's his name? The Elton John guy?
Taron Egerton?
From all accounts, what I've heard, like he not only nails it, but he actually sings.
Oh, good.
Right, like he's
cool,
and it's good and it's amazing, and you melt a little bit more into his portrayal of Elton's than you do of Rami Malek's. Most of the time during Rami Malek's performance of Freddie Mercury, I'm like, he looks like Freddie Mercury, but it's still Rami Malek.
Sure.
Who looks like Freddie Mercury?
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway.
Big aside.
Yeah, big aside. So Rocketeer, I was 14 by then, so it's like I understood even more what they were trying to do in that aesthetic, and it's like that's just fucking cool looking.
Yeah.
And
yeah, agreed.
and James Bond's in it.
Yep.
As the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that didn't hurt.
Yeah, there was another summer of '89 movie, License to Kill.
Oh yeah.
Saw that one too. But anyway, yeah. So it's like. It's funny when we got older. I think we have a different take on the media push, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I was working at a department store in the section that was toys, electronics, and sporting goods. And when Jurassic Park came out, I remember all of those toys that came and how cool those fucking dinosaurs were with the leathery skin and like the chunks that you could take out. Like you could fight the dinosaur and then take out a chunk or something. And I thought, it's like, wow, that's really cool for a really cool movie.
I remember just the T-shirts too.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were everywhere.
Oh, that iconography
that
again.
That Jurassic Park logo.
Which is, again, probably what really benefits like the Jurassic World.
Yep.
It's the iconography.
Yep.
But but I don't remember the toy selling. But then, if I'm not mistaken, they actually did sell. But you know, when you're 16, you're not buying the toys to whatever movie comes out.
Yeah.
You're buying CDs and Nintendo games and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so but like but yeah, like every year there has been that big media push, and now it's pretty much dominated by Disney movies, whether it's Marvel or Star Wars or Disney.
Yep.
You know, and it's like, considering we just went from Captain Marvel to Avengers to soon Aladdin, then Lion King, then Star Wars. There's no rest.
And it's going to get worse because they're taking a break after the new Star Wars, but then launching right into a new trilogy. And then every other Christmas for the next 6 years will be staggered by Star Wars and Avatar.
Yeah, there's going to be
7 years.
There's going to be dumb amounts of Avatar movies.
Yeah, 4 supposedly.
I thought it was more.
I don't know. Last I heard was 4 more.
Yeah, but still,
who
that's
knows?
a dumb number of Avatar movies, considering
man.
I didn't feel like that movie needed a sequel to begin with.
Nope. It did not.
But yeah, so I mean, it's like, we're so we think about Batman so fondly because it seems so quaint now, right? Like we don't see that kind of push that works like that basically is the super massive moment in a single year that's not seen again for another like 11 or 12 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's weird to think about how much more fondly we look upon those media blitzes compared to just being inundated constantly by it now. And sometimes seeing clever things, like we saw the Geico commercial before the Preakness today.
Right.
You know, where, you know, it's like he's imagining having the Infinity Gauntlet. It's like, that's cute and stuff.
It's amazing that that's still being advertised
As
in
long
that
as it's
way.
number one.
But that's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's not a cheap commercial.
No, probably not.
But Geico wants in on that
They sure
Avengers Endgame, right? And it's, you know, sure, it's still making a shit ton of money, but it's, you know, been a few weeks now.
Yeah, we're 3 weeks on now.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but it's like, well, hey, this is still a hot property. Maybe the advertising dollars have gone down to enough
Right.
to where we can afford to get in on this a little bit.
Right.
Like, how do you quantify that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
But you're right. I mean, we are in the summer of Endgame right now.
Right. And
the spring, I guess. But yeah.
But I don't know what else in summer is going to even approach it.
Yeah.
Like, sure, Aladdin's going to make its money, probably.
That looks so bad.
It looks so bad, but it's probably going to make its money, right?
Yeah.
What else is coming out this summer that's going to even be like, what's even going to catch up to Captain Marvel?
Shit, I don't even know. What the hell is coming out?
And we got to wait until Star Wars.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, we got to wait until the end of the year, or maybe Lion King, Lion King is probably going to do well because everybody loves a cute, cuddly animal.
Cute, cuddly kitties.
Yes.
Yes.
But anyway, no, but it's just thinking about like the impact that a movie like that even had with adults.
Yeah.
Because those adults also grew up with the, Biff, Pow, Zing of the Batman TV series. And certainly they grew up with comic books, more so than even our generation did. And we grew up with comic books far more than the following generation did. And they were affected too. It's like this movie made the money that it made from a concerted effort of all the people wanting to see it and being generally wowed by it.
Yeah.
It's rare that movies do that much anymore just because of just how many movies come out and how many things we're supposed to care about. It's like, man, I don't know. It's like I got room for like a couple of things to care about.
Yeah.
For the year.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like I can't care about all the things. One of the things about this movie, so Michael Keaton.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is our Batman, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think so.
I mean, and I remember some people making jokes about Mr. Mom being Batman because he was announced to be Batman before Clean and Sober came out. So people really thought it's like, oh God, it's just going to be this goofy, comedic. They're just going to make a joke out of this. And that was long before anybody ever saw anything about it. It's like the director of Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And it's like, well, we got Jack Nicholson at least. Maybe that's something. But it's funny because in recent news, of course,
yes, of course.
There's been discussion, and I don't know. I mean, this might be debunked now. I don't know. I mean, by the time this episode comes out.
Oh, sure. I guess it could. Yeah.
This week, as we were preparing to record this episode, it was announced that Robert Pattinson was the next Batman.
Yes.
And Facebook exploded.
Yeah.
And just exploded with sad faces and punches at you as soon as you logged in.
You could feel them come out of the screen and try to punch you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just a bunch of sad faces, angry faces, and fists coming at you. And it reminds me of that meme of like the pumpkin spice.
What's funny is, What's funny is I probably saw more articles in my feed defending him as the choice than I did like people totally crazy about it, which just makes me happy to know that I've curated my feed well enough to the point where the angry fanboys aren't there as present. Somehow they're still sneaking into yours.
Yeah. Look around my apartment. I end up, the algorithms have figured me out, I mean, I knew as soon as I saw it. I didn't have to look at the results of the thumbs up, happy face, heart, whatever, I didn't have to look at that. I just saw the headline. I'm like, oh, shit. And I know it's like the guy's probably going to be pretty good.
It's probably going to be great.
Yeah, he probably will be.
Yeah.
He is more than just a sparkly vampire, guys.
He's a good actor.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
And guess what? So is Kristen Stewart.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, she's done some good things that she's been good in.
Yeah. She's all right.
Okay. But
she's goes to that school of acting where everything was one note. Like it's very one note with her. She's very flat. So no, I don't think she's a good actress. Sorry, actor. Robert Pattinson, on the other hand, I think is very good.
Yeah, he's a good actor. It'll be interesting to see because I think he does have the look of a brooding, orphaned person.
Sure. He's got the jawline.
Yep. And I mean, I'm fine with it, guys. Come on, man. It's like 30 years ago. Same thing happened.
Yeah.
10 years ago, Heath Ledger's the Joker.
Right.
10 things I hate about Heath Ledger being the Joker.
Oh, God, yeah.
He won an Oscar.
Yep.
I'm not going to say that Robert Pattinson is going to win an Oscar for playing Batman. But look at the comparison here.
Yeah.
Outrage versus shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So shut the fuck up. He's going to be fine.
Somebody mentioned it to me at work and asked me what I thought. And I said, I think the world should honestly be more worried about whether or not they're going to make another good Batman movie again.
Yes. That brings it to my point. Ain't like DC's got much mojo going right now.
Right.
Who wants to play that part?
Right.
Versus, if I pass this up, maybe I'll get a Marvel movie.
And I liked what our friend Dave said too about it. He said, along those lines of who does want to make a DC movie right now, a Batman movie right now, and Robert Pattinson is someone who has been actively seeking out more creative and intelligent roles. Then maybe he sees something
in what this guy's doing
in this script.
Yeah.
That he is thinking, this could be a big thing.
Could he sink his teeth into it?
He could sink his teeth into it. Yes.
His sparkly vampire
teeth.
Again, no matter how good or bad an actor is, he can only work with what he's given.
Yeah.
Twilight, the Star Wars prequels, I don't think I need to say more.
Oh God,
Hayden Christensen can come off the hate list, guys. You know, he's a good actor.
It's sad.
Yeah,
because he is a good actor, and showed that.
And I think he wanted to be what we wanted him to be. Mm-hmm. He wasn't given the material to be what we wanted him to be.
I don't know that anyone came out of those prequel movies looking that good as an actor. No one.
No, it was bad direction.
It was terrible direction.
Right.
It was George cashing paychecks. Like there was
drinking coffee, sitting down, watching monitors.
There was no soul in those movies.
No. I mean, you say what you will about the new Star Wars movies. This is loaded with soul.
I agree. I absolutely
it's
agree.
loaded with attempts.
There's passion. There's passion in it. Yes.
Anyway. So, it's like obviously Batman is always going to be the anchor. It's like, you got to pick the right Batman. And it's like, we picked our Batman, but oh no. It's like, is this going to work?
It just doesn't fucking matter. Like Batman, just someone serviceable is okay. It's just got to be a good story.
Right.
And executed properly.
And this time it all worked.
Like George Clooney could have been a perfectly fine Batman.
Yeah. I'm wondering why he is so anti, like, the story came out that he told Ben Affleck a few years ago, don't do it.
Right.
What are you so upset about, George? What do you got?
Yeah.
You dude.
It didn't hurt him one bit.
No, it didn't. Nobody blames him.
No. And he even kind of fell on the sword over it too. Maybe he just took it personal.
Maybe, but
he shouldn't have.
He shouldn't. It's not his fault.
Right. I mean, again, this is Val Kilmer. Perfectly fine.
He was a
pretty great Bruce Wayne. Yeah,
he was a great Bruce Wayne.
But yeah, look at Val Kilmer now.
Right. You know who does get deserved kind of derision about his Batman is Christian Bale.
He does, yeah.
Because his Bat voice is goofy.
Yeah, his Batman portrayal is kind of goofy. It is kind of goofy.
And it's, I mean, I
don't know how well that will age. His Bat voice.
Not. It is not.
The Bat voice?
It hasn't. I mean, the day after you see one of his movies, and when it came out, it's like, that's a goofy voice.
That's a goofy voice.
And the second time you see it, you're starting to chuckle.
Well, that's why I like the third one. I like a lot of the third one, Dark Knight Rises. But that one is a hard one for me to get through.
I'm surprised you actually like that movie.
I like a lot of it. But
really?
I like a lot of it, but there's a lot I really don't like. That one for me is really hard to defend, right?
Yeah, sure.
And but what makes that really bad is the fact that when they are talking to each other, Bane and Batman, it's like, what the fuck are they saying to each other? Like it's the sound design is so bad, and it's shocking from a Christopher Nolan film.
Right, and for Bane to have his mouth covered, you should have a speaker coming out the other side.
Yeah, it's just
it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
What I don't
and Tom Hardy is already difficult to understand.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
What I didn't like was when Batman shows up and like Catwoman's talking to him, and then she leaves when he turns around. And he turns back and goes, "So that's how it is." It's like, come on, dude.
what did save a lot of that movie for me was the spectacle. It is
Sure.
beautiful, and the IMAX shit, like the true IMAX shots
Yeah,
were amazing.
I do like the question at the end.
Yeah,
That's beautiful how they did that.
I like the Gotham in Anarchy. I
Sure.
love that.
The No Man's Land story.
Yeah, I really like a lot of that. I like the best Batman stories are when everyone from Arkham escapes.
Sure.
Those are my favorite ones. You know, the total chaos
Right.
storylines.
Right.
It had a lot of that, but it just didn't. A lot of it just didn't work within the universe that had been created for it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was so grounded, and all of a sudden it's got this.
Yeah.
It goes a little overboard.
It goes overboard. Yeah.
That's how it feels.
Oh God. Yeah.
So anyway, back to 1989.
Yeah.
But you see what we're talking about here. We're talking about the evolution or relative lack of evolution that the newer Batman stuff is compared to Tim Burton's vision.
Yeah.
Now, it takes a step backwards for Joel Schumacher, but Christopher Nolan and even Zack Snyder tries to have some of that Tim Burton feel to their Batman.
Sure.
And so it stands so well on its own. Even if they never made a sequel, even if for some reason it was well received but didn't make money, or they decided not to make any sequels, this movie is perfectly great on its own.
Sure. Yeah.
It doesn't lose from the sequels, but it's perfectly great on its own.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just, I mean, it's the characters, it's the way it's written. It's a very busy script, but it doesn't wear you down. Like when Robert Wool shows up as Alexander Knox, he's constantly cracking wise, but he's not wearing you down.
Yeah.
You know, it's so well directed, and I think it's really tightly directed too, that just everything shines in it. Like from the design of Gotham City to the characterization of Bruce Wayne and Batman to Jack Nicholson just chewing scenery. Like I've never seen him chew scenery before.
It's very well realized, I think. I think that
it feels like a lived-in world.
Yeah, and it also it just feels like one of those movies that was made that everyone was prepared. Right?
They showed up ready to work.
They all showed up. Yeah, it sounds clinical, and sometimes that comes across as a bland or sterile wooden movie. But in this case, it was like everybody
knew who they were playing,
and everyone was bought into it.
Right. Like Jack Nicholson knew he was going to be the Joker.
Yeah.
And so what did he do? He just let loose.
Yeah.
The only person who didn't know exactly what was going to happen until like right before shooting was Kim Basinger.
Oh, yeah.
Because she just had to replace Sean Young.
Right.
But she still showed up and did her job, you know, and she felt like a real character. Certainly Michael Keaton, even though he's kind of small in stature, he's Batman. You know, it's like I don't look at him and think, oh, that's Michael Keaton. That's Beetlejuice. That's Batman.
Yeah, the way he looks in the suit and in silhouette is just that is Batman to me.
Well, they light him really well too, with like the eye line and
yeah. It just he is what I think of Batman. I think of Keaton's Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe close second, or maybe sometimes a tie would be the animated series Batman.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But that's a direct derivative of this world.
Right.
But like the way that the city is designed too, like like in the script it was described as if hell basically just erupted from the sediment to build a city. Giving it a character like that, that Gotham City is just a shitty place to be.
Yeah.
And then for Tim Burton to also describe it as just picture New York without its grid, without its design. You know, it's just, it's chaos. It's an urban, chaotic jungle, and that design is that movie's Oscar nomination.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, it's not the music, as great as the music is.
God, the music is so good.
It's not Jack Nicholson for the pedigree that Jack Nicholson would bring to an award.
Yeah.
It's the design. It's Gotham City.
Yeah.
And that says something because, quite frankly, Batman is nothing without Gotham City. In general. Like, I mean, the character of Batman does not exist without the character of Gotham City.
Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't really make sense anywhere else.
No.
And that's kind of where I've always liked comics, where Batman is in Metropolis.
Yeah.
Right? Because you feel him out of place. And he feels out of place. And it's only when he goes back to Gotham does everything feel right again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, you know, and Superman's hardly ever seen in Gotham.
You're right. Yeah, that's the same thing.
Yeah,
when
it's like,
Superman's in Gotham, there must be something that he just can't get out of.
Right.
Because he doesn't want to go to Gotham either.
Right. Bruce Wayne has reasons to be in Metropolis. Clark Kent and Superman have no reason to be in Gotham.
Right.
Which is also interesting because they were able to split that off when they finally made Dick Grayson his own character of Nightwing. They gave him Bloodhaven, which is in between, I think, Gotham and Metropolis.
Interesting.
If I'm not mistaken, Metropolis is in. I think Metropolis is in Delaware, and Gotham City is in New Jersey, but it may be the other way around. At least classically, that's what it used to be. And Bloodhaven is someplace in between those two.
Bloodhaven.
And basically, it's just Gotham Jr. It's a shithole.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, Dick Grayson has to grow up a little bit and become more like Bruce Wayne, whether he wants to or not. And so that's interesting.
Yeah.
You know. But again, DC created these worlds, these cities that become a character that require their hero.
Yeah.
Star City needs Green Arrow. Keystone and Central City need the Flashes. They, you know, it's stuff like that is, I think, really kind of interesting because they've been able to make relatively successfully their hero cities their own characters that need their defender, and also the defender needs them.
Yes.
But yeah, no. There's so many. Like, you got Billy D. Williams in this. You got Tracy Walter as Bob the Goon. I mean, this movie's got pedigree from top to bottom. Lee Wallace is the mayor. He's been in a ton of stuff. Michael Gough is Alfred.
Alfred. Yeah.
I mean, he's picked because Tim Burton loved Hammer movies.
Yeah.
And he was in a ton of them.
Yep. I mean, perfect.
I mean, yeah, it's like this movie, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What else can you say about a classic, right?
Other than Happy Birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Batman.
You're 30.
You're 30.
Can't believe it.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. Took you 10 years to get to the screen. I guess I could say, you know, the one of the executive producers is Michael Uzlan, who is an IU graduate, Indiana University graduate. Boo Hoosiers, but yay home state. Was the first person to ever teach an accredited course on pop culture. It was a comic book class. Shortly after that, he obtained the rights in 1979 to make a Batman movie.
Yep.
Shopped it around. Took 10 years to get it made.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Talk about a passion project.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he was a huge Batman fan. Hated the TV show as a kid because it was, people were laughing at his hero.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Wanted to claim it back.
Yep.
Make it right.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
I say he did.
Absolutely.
I believe he actually is a producer on every DC movie.
Huh. Wow.
He is in tight with DC.
Damn.
Yeah. He's not just the DC expert. He knows stuff about Marvel and other stuff. But,
sure.
But DC was his home, basically. He's kind of like whenever you see like a Guardians of the Galaxy character show up in a movie, James Gunn is listed as a producer. Mm-hmm. He's kind of he's at the very least connected to all the Batman movies, even the shitty ones, even the ones he probably disdains because of what it did back to his character.
Yeah. Oof.
But like the
Back card.
yeah.
Don't leave home without it.
I want to say though he's also listed as a producer on the Man of Steel and
Oh yeah.
and Watchmen even, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's another one I'd like to talk about.
I would love to.
Watchmen.
I would love to.
That's 10 years old this year.
Wow, that's hard to believe.
I know.
I've been wanting to sit Susan down in front of that.
That will be interesting.
It will be.
Because one thing I'd like to talk about is some of the female gaze that is kind of been heaped on that story that I don't think is exactly fair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So maybe later this year we'll talk about Watchmen.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be, I think, a good 2 since the HBO show is coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which I think is this fall or late summer.
Late summer, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one that I may have to bum a HBO Go account to watch.
Yeah, we can probably figure something out.
Or get like a trial run.
Yeah.
You know, wait until they're all streaming. Trial run, just watch them all.
Yeah, I know. I do that with Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I mean, there's, you notice we didn't talk too much about the plot. We didn't talk too much. We talked about a lot of other things that connects to this somehow.
Yeah.
Whether it's just through our own personal memories or whatever. Mostly mine, I guess. I'm sorry I talked.
No, it's fine. It is a movie that is more than a movie.
It's a cultural phenomenon,
right? So it's hard to just talk about the movie. I mean, everybody's seen the movie.
Most people, yeah. It's hard to find somebody who at least doesn't know what it was or have seen images or clips or something.
I mean, I would assume most people under 25, 30 maybe, you show them like a couple seconds of the movie in almost any section, and they'll probably guess Batman in 2 or 3 guesses.
Yeah, and it may not connect with younger people quite the same way, although I don't know what they're connecting to today.
Yeah.
Because the Nolan movies are very grim and not really suitable for children.
Right.
Listen to me talk about what's suitable for children. Read my blog where I talk mostly about boobs and shit. Anyway, but actually, that might make me more suitable for talking about what's good for children. But no, and I understand that everybody comes at a Batman movie a different way. Like, what I don't like is people who say that anybody who doesn't like the Nolan movies the most doesn't like Batman or doesn't, that gatekeeping bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, fuck off. This is what I grew up on. This was my cultural milestone moment for my life. You know, my brothers were the age I was when Star Wars came out. So, you know, it's just, you know, a lot of people like to think in superlatives, and they think about what's newer is better because it's darker and grittier and Batman
more real.
Yeah. That's not better than anything in this movie. To me, at least.
It's Bat voice.
Right.
Anyway. Bat voice.
So, if you don't like this movie, you're stupid. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, but
no, I'm kidding.
I know. I do wonder though about that, like you said with the younger generation, how they would perceive this, if it would feel goofy.
If the first thing they've seen is
the Nolan Batmans,
or no, not even that. If the first thing they saw was Batman v Superman or Justice League, which Justice League certainly has a little bit more of a feeling for younger audiences. If that's the first thing they saw, I don't think they can get their head around this one.
Yeah.
I don't think they understand why their dads or their uncles like this one more. Yeah. You know. But I could be wrong. I mean, maybe it is a little bit more timeless than I'm assuming.
Maybe, I think in a lot of ways, the best Batman movies, maybe since The Dark Knight, have been the video games. In a lot of ways, those are really amazing Batman movies. You're
talking like the Arkham Asylum stuff?
Yeah. But
yeah. I mean, but again, that's the ability to live in a world and to create.
But I think that somebody who that's their Batman would appreciate Burton's Batman.
Sure.
I think that those two things have a lot of love for one another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Because I think that Joker has a little bit more of a Jack Nicholson feel to it.
Yeah.
Is that also Mark Hamill?
I would guess yes.
Yeah.
But I'm not certain.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine who else would do it.
I mean, if they're kids and it's part of a streaming service or something, the Batman animated series, there's no way they wouldn't connect those two, the 89 and that together.
Yeah. God, how long did that run? Like the mid-90s?
Like 93 through the rest of the 90s, because there were two series.
That's right. And then there was the Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond was pretty cool.
Which is pretty well liked. Yeah.
A lot of people think what if this Robert Pattinson is casting him as Batman Beyond and Michael Keaton is old Batman.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That I might actually poop my pants.
I throw my wallet at my computer and it's like, I want to buy.
Let me in on this. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That'd be really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, anything else you will have to say, Geoff, about Batman's birthday?
No. No, this movie's amazing.
It is.
I mean, it's
that we were both. I think we had the moment together when the Batmobile is blowing up the factory.
Oh yeah.
And it's on remote. You don't know that yet, and then it's just driving through, and it's driving on. Everything's blowing up behind it, and man, that's just cool.
It's just fucking cool,
it's
man.
Still, that still holds up.
With the music swelling.
Yeah, it's just, man, it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Prince.
Prince.
I forgot Prince.
Prince.
Prince's music in this movie is just phenomenal.
Yeah, this movie probably was my true first introduction to Prince as Prince.
Right.
Right. I probably heard Prince songs, but this was when Prince really made his presence known in my life.
Right.
Because it was also the summer of Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because he had 2 or 3 singles from this album that played on MTV.
Yep.
And I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack did the same thing, just was the bat symbol.
Yep.
It was a Prince album, but it was just the bat symbol. Like he leaned in, man.
Yeah,
he went for it.
And the score was a little different. The score did the
Batwing against the moon.
Batwing against the moon. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Damn, that was good. That was good stuff. Danny Elfman's score is just, I mean, it's iconic.
It is amazing.
I mean, it's iconic in the same sentence as John Williams' Superman.
Easily.
I mean, I don't care what it is. I don't care what you bring to me. I don't even care what you bring to me from the Marvel universe. Those are the 2 best superhero scores ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Because you can name those themes in like 2 or 3 notes.
Easy. Yeah, no question.
So much so, to try to help the Justice League, they brought those 2 scores in. Yeah.
Yeah. It can't hurt.
No, it can't hurt at this point.
Nope.
Yeah. It's like that's probably what Joss Whedon was like. Can't hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta do something.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Cool.
All right. Wow.
Yeah. So, Geoff, what's next week? Do we know?
I don't know. It's something.
Some movie.
Something. It's I think we're at the beginning of July at this point. No, we're not. No, we're not. John Carter's next.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a movie that is much derided, much derision, but we really like it.
I like it a lot. I really like it. I'm excited to dig into this.
Yeah, because I really want to try to figure out what people don't like about it.
I do too, and I honestly challenge people to really tell me why they don't like it, because I feel like it was just one of those movies that
bad press,
and the bad word of mouth spread like a vile game of telephone, and everybody thought that hating it was a cool thing to do that year. and it was totally wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
There's your teaser.
There's your teaser. So you can find new episodes of Film Seizure at filmseizure.com. You can always email us at filmseizure@gmail.com. Tell us what about John Carter you don't like.
Yeah.
You have to have seen it.
Yeah.
I'll need to see receipts.
We want to hear what you have to say, and we'll talk about it. Maybe.
Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe
the stars align. Maybe we just don't care.
Maybe we don't care. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Film Seizure. We are foundable. We are findable at places like iTunes, Google Play Music, I should say, not Play. That's the apps and stuff.
Right.
You can find us at TuneIn. You can find us at Spotify.
Yeah.
We even upload the episodes.
I feel like SoundCloud. Our shit's there.
Yeah.
Is it there?
Well, that's where we
That's where we put everything.
where we put everything to start with. We also upload our episodes to YouTube. So if you just want something to play in the background while you're working, we're there.
I'm pretty sure if it's a thing that you listen to stuff on, maybe if you search Film Seizure, you might find us.
I listed exactly where you can find us. So.
Well, give it a try.
Yeah, okay.
Just give it a try.
Okay.
Just search things.
Okay.
And you might find us.
Yeah. Well, I gave exactly where you can find us. So rewind a little bit and hear those again.
Just giving me a look like, I'm just trying to do something a little different with the wrap up, Jeff.
Okay. But you're giving false information. I'm going to have to stop you there.
Just search the internet.
You'll find us. Yeah, so next week, I think it's next week. We're going to Mars.
Going to Mars. Get your ass to Mars.
Get your ass to Mars.
Wrong movie.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I just wanted to say it like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I
I knew. Yeah, I didn't.
Which this made news today. I don't know if you saw this. Somebody, I don't know where Arnold Schwarzenegger was, but he was at some gym, and there were a bunch of people working out and doing karate moves and stuff. And somebody tried to do a flying drop kick on Arnold Schwarzenegger from behind, and it's like this guy comes out of nowhere, flying fucking karate kick, right into his back, and it barely pushes Arnold Schwarzenegger like 5 feet. He looks around and he said later, "It's like I thought somebody bumped into me." The guy who tried to flying karate kick him from behind went down with an injury. How old is Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Like, I don't know, a million.
It's like almost 80 probably.
Oh, 70s? I don't think he's 70. Probably almost 70.
Oh no. He's in his 70s.
Really?
We'll say 70s.
Whatever.
But anyway.
If you know, let us know.
There you go.
If you are Arnold Schwarzenegger, let us know. We'd love to chat with you.
You'd be like, I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. I'd love to chat with you.
That'd be great.
I want to hear your political ideas. Even though we're on different sides of the aisle, I think you're a decent dude. I think you cares.
He seems like a guy who cares.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, blindsided, drop kicked in the back during sporting event in South Africa. The man screams as he's drop kicking, "Help me, I need a Lamborghini." What? As security drags him away, he screams, "Help me, I need a Lamborghini."
Oh my God, that's
this
hilarious.
This world is weird.
Dude, this is where we're at in the world.
He says, "Thank you for your concerns, but there's nothing to worry about. I thought I was just jostled by the crowd, which happens a lot. I only realized I was kicked when I saw the video like all of you. I'm just glad the idiot didn't interrupt my Snapchat." What? Was he sending a dick pic? I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're Arnold Schwarzenegger and you want to send us a dick pic.
You're right, 71.
There we go.
All right.
So, yeah. So anyway, until we go to Mars next weekend or next week. God, I seem to screw that up. You derailed us with that.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Yes, to fuck up the end of every wrap up.
Sometimes I do it, but most of the time it's you. All right. So again, I'm going to try this again. Until next week when we go to Mars, I am Geoff Arbuckle.
I am Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.